Hi there, and welcome to your 2015 Innsbruk 30 FRK. We're just going to start off in the back bumper of the unit here. This is where you're going to find your sewer hose. Just take note of those 2 ears there. Those 2 ears are what's going to mount to your sewer system, and I'll show you that in a second. Just to the left of that, you do have a stabilizer jack. You see the sway we got in the unit right now. If you have one of these in all 4 corners of the unit, you run them each to the ground, give them a little 1/8 turn to snug them up once they're at the ground. It'll take any sway out of the unit. Inside this compartment here is where you're going to find your water hose and your 15 amp park adapter. Down from there is your first sewer outlet. Just take note, you got your gray valve on your left and your black valve on your right. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first, as that's going to be your dirtiest water. And then you'll come behind that with the gray valve. We're just doing that to try and keep the stink out of the hose. Keep that a little bit fresher. Right here you have a cable satellite inlet. And right here is where you're going to find your power cord, which just sucks into the unit. You pull it out, plug it into your 30 amp plug if you have one at your campsite. Most campsites should have this, but if they don't, that's why we include the 15 amp park adapter. If you want to run the fridge at home or your site isn't 30 amps, just keep in mind you're going down to 30 amps, so you won't be able to use something like the air conditioner. A little further down the unit, you just have another storage compartment, as well as your second waste tank. Inside here, just another storage compartment with the tool you run your jacks to the ground with. That goes on there. You just give it a turn, and it'll start going to the ground. At the front of the unit, this is where you're going to find your battery. Your battery's just in that black box there. Underneath, right in front of that, you do have your propane tanks. Propane tanks are just like home, barbecue style tanks. You got this little valve here. It's pointing to this tank, which means you're going to be drawing off this tank. So you just open up that valve. It's good to go. Once this tank runs out, close this tank, flip this over to this tank, and you can open up this tank, and then you'll run off that tank. You got your front tongue jack in the front. Power on turns the light on. You hit extend, retract to retract, extend to extend. This side here, you do have an exterior kitchen. That comes on open. You do have a sink with hot and cold water. That second waste tank is for this sink. You also have a nice little, take the travel ash off, you have a nice little barbecue stove burner. That goes in there, just that travel latch to keep it locked in place while traveling. A little further down the unit, you have your fresh water inlet. Take this cap off, stick garden hose in there, fill up your fresh tank. Fresh tank is what your water pump draws off of. Get a 110 outlet as well as another cable satellite inlet. Right here you have your stove vent. Just always making sure that's open so that you can evacuate those fumes. You have an exterior shower that just opens with your little 751 key. And here's your city water connection. If you get to a site and it's got water, you just hook the garden hose up to here, turn the water on, pressurizes all the lines in the unit. No need to run your water pump. The back of the unit, you got your spare tire, as well as your water heater. Pull that, turn that, open that up. This unit is winterized, but before you ever go to fire up the water heater, just give that a little pull. A shot of water should come out. If no water comes out, that means your tank is likely empty. So at that point, you're not going to want to fire up this water heater because you run the risk of burning something out. Inside, I'm going to go over a reset procedure. The button I refer to is just right here. The stairs in the unit work the same way front and back. Get inside the main door, you just take this assist handle, fold it 90 degrees, pops into place. Fold down the stairs, you just pull down, those fold down, fold that last stair down, nice and easy. Open up your door, which is on a gas strut, help keep it open. You got your fire extinguisher off to your left there, front and center. Right next to that, you do have your LP detector. Propane's heavier than air. It's going to sit on the floor. That guy's going to detect it. If that guy ever starts going off, you're always just going to want to go to the front of the unit, turn the propane off, open up all the windows, air it out. You got your light switch on your far right, turns on all your lights in the living space. And on your left of that, turn that on, turns your little porch light on outside. Awning, you hit extend, starts making its way out. You're going to know you're fully extended when you see the little flap hang down in the back of the metal tube. There's that little flap. There's the back of the metal tube. Now, if it ever starts raining, you can change the pitch of the awning head. You just pull down on this bar here. It lowers the awning head, changing the pitch, allows water to then run off. Now, if you do like this better, you can do the same thing to the other side. It allows more shade. But before you ever go to bring it in, just always making sure you fold those arms back to straight. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. Also, I always recommend bringing in your awning if you ever get winds picking up. You don't want that taken off. You hit retract, just making sure that the fabric folds the right way. It's going to make its way in. You're going to know that's fully in when the motor stops. Your slide out switch is just below that. You hit that out. Slide out's going to start making its way out. Just whenever you hear you're going to know the slide out's fully extended when you hear the whines and clicks of the motor. So there you go. You heard that motor whine and then the clicking. That's just letting you know it's reached its spot. In the bunkhouse here, you just hit this light switch. It turns your main light on, and then you do have individual lights above the bunks. You do have a spot to plug in a TV if you want it, as well as a satellite inlet. Nice little storage space here. That's about it inside of there. Right next to that, you have your little entertainment center, TV, DVD player, and then you got your stereo. Not much I'm going to show you there. It's just going to be just like home. You do have, in the slide out, you do have this nice couch, which does fold down out and into a bed. You just got to pull the foot of the bed out, the couch out. Then to fold it in, you just fold that bottom piece up, grab the top, and kind of help it. And then it just nice and easy like that. This dinette also goes into a bed if you would like it to. You just take these 2 feet off the bottom of the table. Table sits on these nice ledges here. You take your back cushions and fill in the middle. Kitchen area, you got storage all underneath. Just keep in mind of your water lines. You got your kitchen sink, little light above the kitchen sink. The cabinet above the kitchen sink, you do have the binder. Binder is going to include any keys, manuals, remotes for the unit. Be located in that binder there. Right next to that, you do have a microwave. Down from there, you have your range hood. Just always making sure you're running that fan whenever you're using the stove. The stove does run off propane. I don't have a lighter on me right now, but to light the stove, you're just going to turn that over to light. Hit it with the lighter. It'll fire right up. To turn on the stove, you turn the stove to pilot on. You're going to hold that in. There's a little spark arrestor right here. You're just going to hold your lighter on that thermocoupler, warm it up. Once it's warmed up enough, it's going to stay lit on its own, and then you just turn it on to its desired temperature. It can take a few minutes to fire up the stove for the first time once you get out to the campsite, because you just got to clear all the air out of the propane lines. You got a fridge, which is 12 volt and gas. When you turn it on, it's going to go on with this button flush. It's on auto, so it's going to first look for electrical power. If electrical power is taken away, it's going to switch over to gas. If you want it to run solely on gas, you just depress the button, and then it's going to run solely on gas. In here, just more storage space. Right down here is where you find your converter. You open that up, you got your fuse panel. Whenever a breaker pops, it's going to sit in the middle, so you just got to turn it off and then back on. And whenever a fuse pops, there's going to be a red light beside it indicating which one's popped. You just got to take it out, replace it with the same fuse. This is your little monitor panel area. Turn your water pump, you hit that switch, turns the water pump on, which draws from a fresh water tank. And then you got your monitor system, so you hit that battery button, you see low, fair, good, and charging. We're currently C for charging because we're plugged in. And then it works the same way for your fresh, your gray, and your black. Underneath in this cupboard here, you're going to find your water pump. That way you can switch over that hose to hook up an antifreeze jug. Inside the bathroom here, you got your toilet as well as another door to come in and out. Your flusher on the toilet's just on the right here. You got a sink with hot and cold water. Storage underneath. Medicine cabinet up top. You got a bathtub and a shower. Hot and cold water, of course. Right below your monitor system, you got your thermostat. Pretty simple. You got your up and down button to change temperature or to change the fan from auto, low, and high. Typically, you just leave that in auto. You're going to hit this button once. You're going to go into cool. So that you're cooling the air. Hit that button again. You're going to go into furnace. Now this is going to run the furnace. Whenever the furnace fires up, it's always going to run for 3 minutes. After you turn it off, just to cool off, it's like a safety function. Goes off once you hit that again. You open up the door to the back bedroom. Your light switch on the left, slide out button on the right. Unfortunately, today we're not going to be able to pull the slide out all the way out just because of room, but it works the same as the front. You're going to hear those clicks of the motor, and that's when you're going to know the slide out's fully extended. That's about all we're going to go out today. The bedroom here, you do got 2 TVs on either side of the bed. You got storage up top, nice little light up top. Over here, you just have more storage. This is where you can put your TV, as well as you have a nice little charging station, 12 volt power. And then you have your 110 plug as well as your cable satellite inlet. Just more storage in here. Let's turn on your hot water heater. You just take this switch, push it down. I don't want it to fire up, so I'm going to turn it off right away. You see that light come on? That light's going to stay lit until it lights. The water heater is typically going to try and light 3 times. On the 3rd try, if it doesn't light, if that red light's going to stay on. At that point, you got to turn this switch off, go to the back of the unit, hit that little black button I was telling you about, then come back inside the unit, try turning it back on again. That's about it for this unit here. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call.